Ladies and gentlemen, my name is RuffledRowlit and welcome to a brand new video, guys. Today, I want to take a look at something that's finally getting popular again, which makes me really happy, which is Pokemon Fusions. Pokemon Fusions is something that I've loved for a very long time myself. It's a cool way to get two different Pokemon and kind of mash them together for something totally brand new, cool, creepy, awesome, whatever it may be. And today, I want to take a look at the top 10 coolest Pokemon Fusions that I have found for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Let's get right into the first fusion here, which is going to be an awesome fusion of Cubone and Hydreigon. This is a fusion made by Tokia on Twitter, which is really awesome of a designer, and what we have here is a perfect, like a truly perfect and super cool fusion of two Pokemon that I love. And you will notice that I have a little bit of a bias for Cubone throughout this video, but please just accept it because Cubone's cute and really awesome and I love it, so that's why, and it looks really cool as a fusion. So right here, we have Hydreigon, and what's the coolest part about this, for me personally, is probably the fact that Cubone's hands now are like the faces that, you know, the other two heads from Hydreigon. But also what's really cool is that it gets to keep that kind of skull design. You know, we got that, you know, Cubone head still there, but we also get kind of these like back parts of the head. As you can see, like they're also bona fide, like they're also made out of bone now. The same way they are in Hydreigon, you got these kind of like feathers or whatever sticking out, and here they're made out of bones, which is really freaking awesome. I think this fusion genuinely is one of the coolest ones I've ever seen, and Tokia just outdid themselves like so much on this one. So freaking awesome, and definitely worthwhile checking out more of the work from Tokia, because Tokia makes a lot of awesome stuff. But not just that, I also want to talk about what this thing could be called. So I'm thinking Hydrobone or Hydrabone, like something like that, or maybe like Q-Dragon, like Q-Dragon could work. So what do you guys think about that? Q-Dragon. I think that's probably the name that should work the best, but that's that one. Now next up though, we have a fusion that I do not know the person who made it, but this one is actually really cool. So here we have a Marowak and a Kadabra, and boy, oh boy, is this a cool freaking fusion. I don't even know what else to say besides the fact that this is one of the coolest things I have ever gotten to witness. It is genuinely so badass. It kind of reminds me of almost like a warrior monk, like a warrior monk that has kind of like, you know, their stick ready, like to go out and battle and just destroy everyone, and keeping that kind of like Marowak, you know, skull face and whatnot on it, but making its body a little bit more like, you know, fierce, whereas Kadabra is a little bit, you know, smaller, or looks almost like an old man, whereas here, this is a fierce old man, you know, not just your average old man. And as for the name of this one, it was given Marowbra, and Marowbra, I think, is the perfect name for this Pokemon. It just fits it looks great, and honestly, I'm not sure if I want to be, you know, just totally destroyed by this warrior monk Marowbra Pokemon fusion. So that one's really awesome. Unfortunately, I don't know who made it. If you guys do know, let us know in the comment section down below. But either way, next one though is going to be quite interesting. So number 8 is going to be an awesome fusion made by Bonnie John. Now Bonnie John here made a fusion between two Pokemon that are just polar opposites in my opinion, but also work really well together here. And what we have is a fusion between Mewtwo and Porygon, and oh boy, is this awesome. So he calls this the Mew3 or MuRZ, which is just perfectly fitting. So I'm a little bit of a sucker for like these sort of like digitalized Pokemon, so to say, like just kind of like making Pokemon that's like, you know, almost like a robot essentially, is just freaking awesome. And there aren't that many in Pokemon in general. There aren't that many kind of like digital looking Pokemon, but here we have a perfect fusion. So on the left arm here, at least from our perspective, he's got Psybeam being charged up on like a HUD, and like a, you know, he's got like a HUD there. He's like, you know, just pressing the buttons like in this weird techno way. Then on its other hand, it's actually got like these kind of like techno bubbles or whatever, like charging up, with its like fingers being like kind of connected through like some sort of wires or whatever. And what I do like is actually its eyes as well. Like its eyes are just kind of got this like almost like a deadpan look, but almost not really. It's honestly so freaking cool, and definitely the tail is the best part. I think the tail is awesome. It just, these connected parts through electricity is just fantastic. And I'm not sure what this one would be called. I mean, he calls it MuRZ, Mew3. I mean, Mew, or I don't know, like Mew3 probably is, or MuZ I think would actually be like pretty good. MuZ or MuRZ, what do you guys think? I think both those names should work pretty well, but that's that one. Up next on number 7 though is a design made by Chrono Khalil, and he made something pretty freaking awesome. Khalil made some freaking awesome stuff here. So he's got a Charnine. And what you see right here is a fusion between a Charizard and an Arcanine. And oh boy, he's got this more like realistic look to his design, which is really cool. I do love these. They're so like almost like creepy looking, and it just adds an extra layer to the whole thing, you know, just like adding this like creepy effect to it. And this definitely gets that across, like genuinely just gets that across. You can see kind of the head of Charizard still remaining there, whereas the body is kind of this like, you know, just kind of like a mixture of Arcanine and, you know, and Charizard. It's like, it's a weird kind of confusing like little, almost like a weird little mess, but also a bit reminds me like almost like a dinosaur in a weird way. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Overall, it looks freaking cool, and I think the name Charnine actually fits perfectly. It's just like, you know, just a perfect name. Charizard and 9 from Arcanine, you know, just fits in really well. I think it looks awesome in my opinion. Definitely a worthwhile looking design, and awesome one by Chrono Khalil here. Next up though, on number 6, is a fusion made by Rayman. Rayman here has made a lot of really cool fusions, but here we have a fusion that I think is freaking fantastic. We have a Charizard and an Archeops, and as you may notice, again, Charizard comes up in these fusions because Charizard's awesome, but here we have Archeops and Charizard, and I think this looks really cool. It's almost like you got a Charizard that's prehistoric, like not your normal type of Charizard that you see everywhere, but instead of Charizard that used to live like 1,000 years or 3,000 years ago in the Pokemon universe, they used to like fight for, you know, just its survival and like that sort of stuff, and here we get to see it like, you know, come to fruition from like a fossil or something, right? And we get to like rediscover what it was meant to look like back in the past, and it has these kind of like, you know, arms that are just like the Archeops' ones, and the tail kind of looks like that as well, and the extra fur added is just so freaking cool. It kind of reminds me almost like how, you know, we imagine like T-Rexes and stuff and how they look like, and this kind of gives me that feeling, and I think it looks genuinely freaking awesome. And as for what it could be called, it could maybe be called like Archizard, like Archeops, like, and Charizard, like Archizard maybe would be a good name. I think Archizard should work. Yeah, definitely. Now, next up though is a design that looks bloody fantastic. Now, this was made by Nal NTJ on DeviantArt, and this is honestly one of the coolest things ever. This is King Toys, and King Toys, ladies and gentlemen, is a fusion between Kingler and Blastoise, and oh boy, I do not know what to say about this one. I do genuinely not know what to say about this one. It just looks bloody amazing. It's just like an upgraded Blastoise. Like, honestly, it just looks straight up like an upgraded Blastoise, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that is freaking amazing. I love that so freaking much. It's just like perfect, and I don't really know what else to add to it besides the fact that I love this. It genuinely is freaking awesome. It looks badass, it seems badass, and I just love it, man. And the name King Toys, come on, it's perfect. It's just the perfect name. And honestly, I cannot like utter how much I freaking love this thing. Like, it's just so awesome, and I love it. Genuinely love it. Next up though is a design that I freaking adore. This was made by Meth, and Meth makes some of the best fusions you will ever see. And here we have a fusion between seemingly Mega Pidgeot and as well as a Blaziken. And I don't know what to say, but wow, this is genuinely looks just like a real Pokemon. It almost looks like this is meant to be a real thing that exists inside of a Pokemon game. Like, that's how cool this looks like. It's just so fantastic. The colors are just all over the place. They're just beautiful, luscious, flying around, just making this thing look just a million times cooler. Now, as for what this would be called, I don't really know. Maybe you could call it like Blazijot, like, you know, Blaziken and Pidgeot. Something like that could maybe work. Like, I don't really know. Like, there's a lot of things you can go for, but I don't really know what would be the best one in my opinion, like what the best name would be. I think you guys can come up with something in the comment section down below if you think mine is really bad, but I think it's a awesome looking Pokemon in general though. Bloody fantastic. But yeah, let's go to the next one, which is going to be my favorite on this list, which was made by Kaiju Bukanawa, or Bakunawa, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but Baku here made a awesome fusion between a Gyarados and a Cubone, and I don't even know what to say. Like, this is hands down my favorite fusion ever. It is so freaking cool. It's just like, again, almost like a prehistoric Gyarados. Like, you know, a Gyarados has just been hiding under like water, or almost like the Megalodon of Gyaradoses, right? Like every other Gyarados is just like, oh, they're normal size. So they're just like, you know, sharks and whatnot, like the smallest sharks. But then out of the sea comes this giant fusion, you know, of a Cubone and a Gyarados, and it's like the Megalodon of the water. It would be so fantastic to see this as a real Pokemon. I love this, and I really wish they would do this for real. And as for the name, maybe Cubados or something like that, like Gyarados, something like that could maybe work. I don't know. What do you guys think? Either way, next up is going to be a awesome fusion, which is made by Bonnie John, and Bonnie John here did a great job. This is a fusion between an Electabuzz as well as a Persian, and oh boy, this is really cool. It kind of looks almost like a saber-tooth Pokemon, and honestly, if this was the real fusion for like Persian, I would hands down be getting this instantly. Now, this is a must-have Pokemon, like hands down. Next up, though, is one of the creepiest ones. This was made by Alex Vlana on DeviantArt, and this is a fusion between Tentacruel and Dragonite called Tentanite, and this almost looks like Cthulhu. Like, this generally looks like the mythical creature Cthulhu, ladies and gentlemen, and that just makes it hands down one of the coolest things I have ever seen. Just that aspect of it. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the video. If you guys did enjoy it, then drop a like down below, guys, and let's see if we can hit 500 likes on this video. That'd be really appreciated. Also, if you guys want to submit your own fusions to me, join my Discord, or hit up my email, which is listed on the screen.